There's no doubt that what happened to Vanessa Sullivan last fall was a tragedy. However, it was not a murder. It was an accident. There's no doubt that Danny Dawson was behind the wheel of that car that night. But that doesn't make him a killer. You're going to learn a lot about Mr. Dawson. You're going to learn that he's a college student, that he's studying urban studies and linguistics. You're going to hear that he's a good friend. He's a responsible person, a reliable person, someone his friends can count on. But things can go wrong to the best of us sometimes. And that's what happened that night, an accident. You're going to hear the story of exactly what happened that night. Let's go back to last fall. Vanessa, Mr. Dawson, and Vanessa's friend all met up at a bar called Chuggy's to celebrate Vanessa's 21st birthday. When they got there, one of their favorite bands was playing. They had a few drinks. They listened to the band. They had a fun night there. When the time came, they had to leave at 12:40. You're going to hear from the bartender of that bar, who's going to tell you exactly what he saw. The bartender is going to tell you that Mr. Dawson was being responsible. He's going to tell you that Mr. Dawson wasn't acting drunk. He wasn't slurring his words, and he wasn't stumbling around. And he's also going to tell you that Mr. Dawson doesn't drive drunk. After leaving the bar, Vanessa's in the passenger seat, Mr. Dawson's driving the car, and Vanessa's friend is in the back seat. You're going to hear from two people. One, an accident reconstructionist, and another, an eyewitness who saw the crash happen. Both of them are going to recount to you exactly what happened that night. Danny Dawson's in his car. He's driving. It's dark outside. It's almost 1 o'clock at night. He has to get his friend Vanessa home by 1 to meet her curfew. He decides to take Canyon Road to get there faster. It's pretty dark outside. It's raining torrentially, and he can barely see. Canyon Road, it has a lot of curves, and he's taking them, but he still can't see the road as well as he'd like to. When suddenly, out of the blue, a deer runs right in front of his car. He's surprised. He didn't expect this to happen. So he swerves to avoid that deer. He doesn't want to get in an accident. And as he swerves, his car goes off the road a little bit. He's off the road, and he fights to get his car back on the road. And he succeeds. His car's on that wet road, that slick road where his tires have no traction. He's fighting to keep control of his car. He can't see where he's going, and he can't even control where he's going, no matter how hard he tries. It's pretty terrifying for Mr. Dawson. He fights with the steering wheel, maintains control for a good 100 feet on that road. But the road's curvy, it's wet, and his tires just don't have the grip he needs. In the end, he hits a tree that's a mere 2 feet away from the road because he can't keep control of his car. The accident reconstructionist I talked to you about before, she's going to tell you that Canyon Road is a very dangerous road. That if there was a guardrail there, the accident wouldn't have been as bad. She's going to tell you that if that tree was more than just 2 feet away from that road, or if it was not there at all, that accident would not have been that bad. Maybe Vanessa wouldn't have died. And she's also going to tell you that it wasn't Mr. Dawson's speeding that caused the accident. It wasn't any fault of Mr. Dawson's that caused it. It was the weather conditions that night that led to the terrible occurrences. Remember, the prosecution has the burden of proof in today's case, and it has to prove its conclusions beyond a reasonable doubt. When we take all these factors into account, we realize that it was an accident. It was not or murder.
Time.
At the end of this trial, you're going to find the defendant not guilty.